What is going on, everybody? This is Yes I Read That, and today I'm reviewing Use of Weapons by Iain M. Banks. Use of Weapons is also a super cool book. It is part of the Culture series by Iain Banks, and it is a standalone book as well. It's not that long, and I really enjoyed this book. I haven't been having a lot of time recently, so I'm really enjoying these shorter books right now, and the culture books are really interesting to me. So without further ado, let's get into the review. I'll tell you a bit about the story of the book first, and then talk about my likes and dislikes and give you my score for the book. So, the story. If you're about to read this book, then please keep in mind that there's a very weird aspect about how the story is told here. Use of Weapons uses two different narratives in alternating chapters. So one chapter is one narrative and then it switches in the next chapter to the next narrative. And here comes the weird thing. The first narrative is a normal story and it moves forward in time, and the second narrative is a series of flashbacks that moves chronologically backwards in time. So yes, I didn't get it at first, and the only hint you get is really what happens in the stories, and that for one narrative the chapter numbers are numbered backwards. But since I don't really look at chapter numbers, I didn't really realize until I was like probably almost halfway into the book, so yeah. But the story itself is really cool. So it starts out with Dizzy Sma, who is a member of the Culture's Special Circumstances group, and her drone, which is called Skaffen Amiskor, and both of them are trying to re-enlist another person to the Special Circumstances group to help them with one problem. So the person they're trying to re-enlist is called Cheredenine Zakaue, and he should try to contact an old colleague of his, Beiche, in a politically unstable star system, so they could push the agenda of the culture. So basically it's a mission to re-enlist someone with influence in an unstable star system, who is called Zakaue. Zakaue is a rogue, he's a military genius, and he's an assassin. He's kind of a sad case sometimes, but he's a really cool character and he's really sympathetic. I really enjoyed him. Now he gets back on the job when he is promised the location of a woman he once knew who is called Liovetta, and we get to know his story, how he's trying to get the attention of the people and trying to get his way to Beiche on this star system he was sent to, and his story. And at the same time we're getting his flashbacks and his background, and goes back and back in time, and there's more and more being revealed what happened to him in the past. And well, I'm not gonna spoil it, but in the end it leads to a pretty crazy conclusion, and really it's just a very cool story, and the way it's been told, I haven't ever read anything like it, so it was really cool to read. With that being said about the story, we have this mastermind military character, and at the same time we get a bit of Dizzy Sma, who is a member of the Special Circumstances group. And this kind of erratic character, his background stories, there's a lot here to like, so I'm gonna talk about my likes here. What I really enjoyed was that these flashback stories, they were almost always kind of mini adventures that were completely closed off from the rest of the story, which made them really interesting, and there were some pretty cool ideas and some pretty crazy ideas in there, and I really enjoyed it. It's almost like some short stories that you're reading, except that they're all connected to the main story. Other than that, I like that the structure is very complex, but really cool. I have never read anything like this. The characters are interesting and, in my opinion, very likable. And the group just of Dizzy Sma, Zakaue, and the drone is a really interesting dynamic and a really cool trio. The writing is also really good. It's kind of poetic. It's just a well-written book. And lastly, the world this takes place in. I already talked about the world a bit in the first culture book I read, which was considered Fleabus, and I really enjoyed the world. Everything feels so natural and feels as if it could really exist. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. Well, my dislikes, I don't really dislike anything about the book itself, except that I really didn't get the chronological reverse storytelling at first, so that's kind of a bummer. If you don't know about it and you read it and you don't get it because of the chapter numbers, then in the beginning it's really confusing. But that's about it for my dislikes. So my final score is a 9 out of 10. I just wish that they would have told me earlier that we're having these reverse chronological flashbacks. But the book itself is amazing, the characters are amazing, and the conclusion in the end is just mind-blowing. It's really, really good. So this already concludes my review of the book. If you liked it, make sure to drop a like and maybe sub to this channel. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye!